Hi, I'm Cash, and welcome back to Cash Talks Football, the largest football channel in all of YouTube. Definitely, that's true. Definitely not a meme. Today, we're still on our pre-season tour, going over, getting ready for the Premier League. Some teams are better ready than others. Bournemouth look like they're a shell of themselves, to be fair. I know they lost a couple of players, but they just don't seem to be really with it or at the races. Now, I want to show you a couple of little things here, especially in when you're doing sports analytics and you're breaking down teams and structures. You should be able to see this straight away, okay? What you can also see is the way that Manchester United are actually trying to set out with wide players, one in the middle, keeping the three. Okay, you're starting to see it a bit better shape from United. Whether they keep it up through the season, we'll yet to see. But so far, not bad in pre-season. Boom, as we stop it here, can you spot the problem? I'll give you a second. See if you notice and identify the problem. Okay, let me show you. It is the distance between those two players. You can see that gap right there. Okay. Obviously, there's no real pressure on the ball. So what you've got is a couple of problems if you're a Bournemouth right here. You've got two players in no man's land. He's not close enough to the right back to be able to, well, if the right back tries to pressure the ball, he's not close enough if the right back beats him to actually do anything, okay? Absolutely none. So the right back can't put any real pressure on the ball because he's in a 1v1. He's going to get done into the space because there's lots of it, because they're challenging up here on the 18-yard box. So as you move it forward, you see, okay, he's slowing him down, done whatever. Oh my God, someone's put their arm out, and as we know, in the next 5 seconds, someone's about to score a goal. Normally, the person with their arm out is the one that should be actually doing something in the game. You can still see that space, right? You can see Rasmus Højlund here fighting with the defender, trying to pull him away because he's identified that's the space. That's where he wants the ball to be played. And then you can see that, well, they've got all the time in the world because they're technically 2v1 out here. Look, you can see 2v1. There's nothing going to happen out here. There's no player here to help and cover. Only him, but he's too far away. So if he was close enough, let me just talk you through why that's important. If he's close enough here, it gives him permission then to really go and attack. And he can see him and it'll second guess whether or not he makes the run down here because he knows that player can shut and cut down his angle to get the ball across in the space there. He's just too far away. So as we move forward, bump, stopping the ball, looking around. Look, he's backed off again. Why is he backed off? Because he's going with the runner, not the ball. Standard Premier League procedure is they don't really care about the football. It's more about the runners and the off-the-ball movement, not about actually tackling the football or stopping shots. Don't do that anymore in football because it doesn't look good on the stat. I'm supposed to do this recovery run. Yeah, no, mate, you're rubbish. Look, look, he's run away. Oh my God. He's actively run away from the football. These are modern footballers with coaches that have played hundreds of thousands of pounds and players played even more, and he just runs away from the football. And everyone will say, oh, Man United are doing great. Well, they scored 4 goals. Yeah, they did score 4 goals, but you've got to understand that Bournemouth, that is rubbish. You've run away from the pressure, ball comes in, good, decent header, attacks that space. You can still see the gap between those two players right there. Let's just highlight that again. There's the gap between those two players, and there he is in the middle of it. But ultimately, Bournemouth are just rubbish at the back. You can't run away from a football player that's got the ball and not expect him to have all the time in the world to put in a cross to find a head. I mean, yeah. Bournemouth are going to struggle this season if they play like that. So as we're exposing spaces along the centre-back line, look at this. Can we see that? Can we see these two players here? Can we see where the ball is? These two players need to be making recovery runs straight away. He's not going to because he thinks he's doing his job because he's standing next to a player. That is just awful football. Now, this is what gets interesting, okay? So, and I don't care if it's pre-season. I'm just going to assume I'd run it like I would. If I was running pre-season, I'd still be going a million miles an hour and expecting a million times better than this. As he's holding the ball up, okay, gives away a free kick. All right, fine. Now, at this moment here, you start making runs back to get goal side so he can get back and do his job, and you can come back here and do his job, and everyone can have a nice little tight unit back here. All right, I know that's not where the ball goes. It goes over to this side, and apparently that right back that ran away from the ball is going to fall over now. He's having a great day. But that isn't what I'm more concerned about. I'm concerned about all the things that are happening in all the other areas, because as much as the slip and all of that is concerning, this is even more concerning, because this means that, yeah, we might get beaten by a little bit of skill and a quick taken free kick, but if we're not, you're going to rip us apart because we've got a massive gap in the middle here that no one's addressing. Do they have time to address it? Yeah, because there's a free kick being taken. So as this dead ball situation and he's turning, look at the movement. Only one player starts running, walking, getting back should be your number one priority, and nobody from Bournemouth is getting back. Just walking pace, absolute walking pace. And that's mentality. And the problem with little things like that is they will carry that on into the season. 100% will carry that on into the season. Now, people will say, oh, yeah, but they'll play well. Well, so this is what happens with lower level teams like a Bournemouth or like a West Ham, or those teams that are always there or thereabouts, fighting from anywhere from maybe 6th or 8th all the way down to, say, sort of 14th and 16th, in that sort of area in the Premier League. They'll always play well against the big teams, because if they don't, they'll get beaten 5-10-0, right? So, and you're playing Man United at Old Trafford, who's not going to be up for that game, or Arsenal at the Emirates, you're always going to be up for those games. It's when you're playing all those other teams in and around you that all of those little things that I'd call them characteristics, but it's a little bit more complicated than just characteristics. They all creep into play, and that's what you ends up staying with you, because the one-off games are the one-off games, and you play great in those. But it's all those little things of not running back and doing those things now is the things that build your character for the season of how you're going to play. There's a little chip ball in behind. Boom. It should be easy. Should be absolutely easy to defend. But you know what? They decide not to defend it, and instead what they decide to do is fall over and look for a foul. Yeah, it's absolutely awful. And here's the problem as well. Nobody else has read it. No one else is even aware of the situation or even dropped deep enough so anyone can make any sort of recovery tackle, because they're all up having a chat on the halfway line pretty much. I mean, overall, it's an awful, awful performance by Bournemouth. Is it great that Man United scored a couple of goals, got in behind them, doing some things? Yeah. But you've also got to look at it against the opposition you are. You can't just rank it in the fact that, okay, we're doing these good things. We're doing these good things because the enemy's playing awful. Yeah, they are playing awful. So if they're playing awful, you can't sort of go, right, we're going to get away with those next week. We want to recreate those situations and see if we can make the enemy play awful again. But we can't hang our hat on it and go, oh, we're having a good day. If you're doing it for 5 weeks consistently, causing these same sort of problems, now you can start to talk. But a one-off game against Bournemouth here, no, you can't. And when we move it on here, the keeper's at utter absolutely no man's land. He should have been coming out for this a little bit, shutting that angle down. He's not. He's just dead on his feet, into the corner. Decent finish. Gets himself a goal. Well deserved as well. Well deserved goal. But let's move it on. Here we go again. There's a couple of right. Let's first of all talk it from an attacking point of view. Are we happy with the shape? Yeah. We got 2 people holding. We got numbers forward. Yeah, we're really happy with that. Okay, great, good job. But are you playing through them, or are they just absolutely rubbish? And it's the second. They're rubbish. You've got 2 defenders back here on an island having a picnic. You've got these guys playing a line over here. You've got a separation like that. You've got acres and acres of space to play in here on side, because no one knows what they're doing. Like, what are you doing, boys? Are you dropping deep and defending the box, or are you pushing up to the 18-yard line? You don't know. And I'll be honest with you, at this standard, that's awful. I'll give you an idea. If I saw this happening, because I've been director of coaching and all sorts of stuff in football, if one of my coaches was doing this with any sort of level, all the way down to the under-12s, and there was a separation of his defenders doing that, even in pre-season, I'd be firing him, because he doesn't know what he's doing. And why I'd be firing him is because if he's not getting it right now, he's not going to get it right into the season for me. So I need to get rid of him and change him now. This, with your defence this far apart, is awful. Look at it. It's awful. It's all over the place. I don't want to hear, oh, they're different players and they're different things. No, they're footballers. They go out and they play football. They know exactly what to do. You've had time to work with them. And don't just say, oh, we've only had a week. No, a lot of these players have been at Bournemouth for a good many years, and you know exactly what you can do. But they're just, it looks like they're strangers playing for the first time down the park. Now, when a ball gets into the box, Højlund holding it up. It looks like he's doing an all right job doing it. 2 players on him. 2 players can't win one football against one United player. You're worried about that because it's Højlund. It's not like it's a Kylian Mbappe or a monster forward that you're really worried about, or someone who's just might be old but loads of class, like an Olivier Giroud, who's really good at holding up the ball. It's Rasmus Højlund. He's had a terrible season, and he's just manhandling you two and holding the ball up. Hopefully he's got a bit of confidence for the wee lad, because he's played awful. But now it's just a bumble. And this is what's even more important. As the bumble happens, You can see 2 people not interested whatsoever in recovering, unmarked, in space. United are kind of holding a shape. You can see that. And there's nobody anywhere for Bournemouth. Look, absolutely no one smashing the ball into the goal. Couple of reasons. They've got sheer numbers, and Bournemouth just don't look like they've got a clue what's going on the football field. But let's move it on. From a defensive point of view, and from the United side, though, they do look like they're in trouble just like last season. As you can see here, player's been pulled out to the wide area. You can see where he's looking for the ball. No reading of the game, no understanding to go and close this ball down so nothing happens. Look, he's still got it. You can see he's pointing. At the moment now, he should be running towards it. You can see that's his steps that should be running towards it. He's not. He's still worried about the player in the middle, and there's an overload on the back stick here. I mean, United got some defensive frailties they need to get together as well. It's just that Bournemouth are pants at finishing. Look, he's still not starting to make his run there. He's received the ball. He's still not starting to go to close the space down or close the player down. Player ends up getting his shot off. I think it takes a ricochet bump and the keeper makes a decent save. And it wasn't a Nana, because otherwise he would have managed to score an own goal somehow. But yeah, you can see that little ball into the channel there is a problem for United right there. You can see it's a problem. They're just not reading it. They're absolutely not reading that. And that's going to be a problem for them if they continue to do that through the season. Bournemouth getting exposed down the flank again. A bit of a comedy of errors, to be fair. What he was watching in the first half, and he saw the Bournemouth right back fall over and give a goal away. He was like, mate, I'm not only going to fall over, I'm going to give an assist away. That's kind of what happens. I'll be honest, what's happening is there's if I ever let this go on my channel, it's like you can take this idea and you can print yourself however much money in the world you want. They say you cannot teach people to run faster. Yeah, you can. You can teach people to have faster twitch muscle memory. You can. That's why you have coaches in Olympic sports. That's why you have coaches in Olympic sprinters, teaching people to run faster. But when you're young, like these kiddies here, I think they just come out of the academy. I don't know if they're sort of 18s, 19s. What happens sometimes is your legs move and you get the head bobble, right? Toddlers have it quite a bit. You can see he's got the little head bobble when he's stumbling his feet because his feet are going fast and his body can't catch up, and he's just gone down, and it's kind of funny. Yeah. But here's the difference. One United player carries on running, and he's further away than the Bournemouth players to the ball. So now it comes down to something that United completely and utterly lacked last year, which is determination. Do they have it? Can they win the ball? Boomf, in he comes. Terrible. Don't know what he's doing there. He's poked the ball to the United player. Bit of a mangle and just coming together. It's just a mess, absolute mess. No Bournemouth players coming to back him up. Like this guy here doesn't know what to do. Because you've got to understand, there's no one between him and the goal. He's got to kind of try and come over. This guy's got to try and come and cover his spot. But look at his body shape. You can see, look, the fact he's not even running properly. Look, it's a casual jog. Look, you can see stumble, casual jog. He's in no way to react. If he had run properly, like the United player had run towards the ball, he would have been about there, freeing this guy up maybe to pressure the ball or himself pressure the ball. But he's not. And it's in the net box before any of them can react because they're just poor. Yeah, let's move it on. You know that same area that I was telling you that they were exposed by down here, when they're going to get exposed by next season as well because they don't know how to deal with it. Right here, watch what happens. Bump into the space. No one's coming across to deal with it. They're not sure how to deal with it because, quite frankly, I don't think they know how to play as a back three. It's a very sort of different system. It is and it isn't. It's hard because I know how to coach it, and it's very different when you're trying. Certain players react to certain things differently. One of the best ways of doing it is having your left and right centre back play left and right back for a bit, and they start to understand playing the left and right centre back much easier. They haven't got time to do that, obviously, but that's kind of what you want to do. And then as this ball's played in, it's just going to be a simple ball across the box. It's an early ball, and you've got all their players, which is very, very important. All the players are facing the goal, making it easy ball in, and I think it's an own goal in the end. But that's going to happen all season for United if they don't fix that problem on the right hand side, and hopefully I don't expose them on the left hand side as well, because if it does, they're going to get a romp this season because that's too easy. That's 2 times in one simple game there with a team that's not great, that's exposing their defensive frailties. If I'm analysing it and watching it, so's the other Premier League teams. They'll spot that as well. And other than that, I'll see you next time on Cash Talks Football.